Welcome to the Fun Astrology and Merriman Market Analyst Saturday Financial Podcast. I'm Thomas Miller. Thanks for joining us. This is the free weekly newsletter published every week on MMAcycles.com by financial analyst Ray Merriman, and he is in the house this weekend and tuned up. Couple of things before we begin. The newsletter had already gone to press, if you will, before the Moody's announcement, after the close, Friday afternoon, downgrading the United States credit rating. Keep that in mind as you listen to this. First of all, the weekend review and an article from Thursday from Axios. Walmart expects to raise some prices because of the impact of President Trump's tariffs, officials said on Thursday. The world's largest retailer, which had pledged to hold the line on pricing, said it was now too late to avoid higher costs for customers, even with the China trade deal earlier this week. End quote. Then, from the Wall Street Journal on Tuesday, President Trump basked in this desert kingdom's glitzy welcome as he announced an end to sanctions on Syria, signed investment deals with Saudi Arabia, and issued a pointed warning to Iran. On the first of a four-day Middle East visit, Trump sealed $300 billion in deals with the Saudis, with an eye toward doubling that total within 4 years. End quote. Now, Ray's thoughts on the week past. He said global stock indices soared to their highest levels in nearly 3 months, recovering nearly all of the losses incurred from the disruptive trade tensions that started them. Last week's announcement of a temporary truce with China that reduced the tariffs imposed on one another started the most recent part of the rally. However, there is still no permanent agreement. These are just the first steps that will be reviewed later, which means that chaos and uncertainty may still remain. Nevertheless, investors cheered at the progress. This was further augmented by the president's major deals with Middle Eastern countries during his travels last week. He proved to be a good deal maker for the U.S. last week, which is not surprising, given that transiting Jupiter is still within orb of his natal sun. Now it begins to separate, and the real test comes in the next 4 weeks. Most of the world's stock indices closed the week sharply up from their crisis lows of April 7th through 9th. However, this weekend we will enter the first strong geocosmic critical reversal zone since the secondary low of April 12th, as the Sun conjoins Uranus, which is very close to the Sun in the founding chart of the New York Stock Exchange. In the majority of cases, a stock index that rises into the Sun-Uranus conjunction will reverse and fall sharply within 4 trading days afterwards. The question is whether that decline ended on Thursday before Friday's rally, or if it ends now and begins another decline by next Thursday. And Moody's helped that along Friday after the close, but before 5 p.m., when the extended trading stopped for the weekend, Moody's announced the downgrade of the AAA status of the United States, sending futures plunging. The fun and games never end. And you can't make this stuff up, right? In Ray's other comments about the review of the week in other markets, gold continued its sharp decline from an all-time high of $35.09 on April 22nd, one day after that 3-star critical reversal date of April 22nd. On Thursday, it had fallen as low as $31.23, off nearly $400 from its high of 3 weeks ago. Silver also fell to a new 5-week low on May 15th, dropping to $31.78. A concern now is that the Sun will enter the air sign of Gemini this week. That means we'll need to be alert when the Moon also enters an air sign in the next month. For at least one of those air days usually corresponds to a sharp decline. The first will take place with the new moon on May 26th and last until May 28th. Now, this week's short-term geocosmics. Another article from the Wall Street Journal on Thursday. Coinbase Global said Thursday that it has refused to pay a $20 million ransom demand from cybercriminals who bribed the company's overseas customer support agents to steal sensitive user data. And there's something in this section, the short-term geocosmics, that you may not have known and probably want to know. Ray says, as the Sun conjoins Uranus this weekend, along with Mercury squaring Mars, let's discuss cyber subjects like innovation, as well as cyber theft. After all, Uranus rules technology, and Mercury pertains to information. Both Uranus and Mercury, along with the Sun, are in Taurus, the sign of money and currency, and are in a hard aspect, respectively, with the fiery Sun and Mars. So, expect surprise announcements here that may have combative rhetoric and disagreements. Perhaps it has to do with the conservatives blocking the GOP's big, beautiful mega tax bill. They're not getting along, yet the stock market keeps rising. We note that the recent rise in global equity markets has been led by the tech sector, which is related to Uranus and its ruling sign Aquarius. Pluto is now in Aquarius for approximately 20 years, indicating the powerful transformational nature of technology on the world stage that started in 2023. But now that the equity markets have been up sharply for 5 weeks, a corrective decline may be about to begin, as suggested by the geocosmic configurations of Uranus and Mars. In the coming weeks, the Sun will enter Gemini, the sign that is ruled by Mercury. In about 2 months, Uranus, technology and innovation, will also enter Gemini, information. By itself, this would appear to bode well for the NASDAQ and other tech-heavy global indices this year. Yet the hard aspects of this weekend can also indicate problems nearby, especially if 1. The next rally does not make a new high, and 2. Reports of increased cyber attacks and thefts continue to financially harm businesses, and 3. As we enter Jupiter square Saturn and Neptune, and Mars square Uranus, June 9th through the 24th. Coinbase, as mentioned above, is not the only company being attacked by cyber thieves. PayPal is, too. Our PayPal account was compromised in the past 10 days, as were several of our associates. The source of this breach appears to have originated in Belarus, a close ally of Russia, whose business model includes such odious activities as internet and computer hacking. Incidents like the one reported by Coinbase serve as urgent reminders to secure your technology now. One of the simplest and most effective ways to block cyber attacks is by enabling two-factor authentication. PayPal and even Amazon Prime do not usually do this automatically. You need to request it. Those cyber attacks on us have now stopped with the two-factor verification set up and a change of passwords. Our cybersecurity is now like a fortress. PayPal and Amazon have both stopped the cybercriminals' attempted payments. Still, if you receive an invitation letter from me or anyone else with an envelope appearing with the prompt to open, and this is the hook, please do not open it. It may lead you to the negative side of the Sun-Uranus conjunction and the Mercury-Mars square. So stay alert, stay safe. Protect your accounts with the two-factor verification steps. As far as the markets are concerned, you may use this period, plus or minus 4 trading days from this weekend, to buy or sell any market that is in the process of making a corrective decline or a rally to the underlying trend, such as stock indices, metals, currencies, and/or grains. If the reversals that follow do not make new highs or lows in the case of bearish trends, be careful of yet another reversal against that trend into mid-June. And now, the longer-term thoughts section, I'm going to leave you to check out the website MMAcycles.com and go to the free weekly forecast tab. My time this morning is short, and this is a section on President Trump, his family, and profiting from crypto. So if you're interested in Ray's thoughts on that, head over to the website. Have a great weekend, everyone. I'll see you back on Monday. Kristin will be with me next week, and we will cover this all the way through. Reversal time. See, Sun-Uranus, didn't we say? And what happens? The United States credit, I would classify that under surprise. Or, as Noel Teal said, bzz, that was a bzz. And they could have done it during market hours. That was a low blow right there. All right, you guys have a good weekend. We'll see you next week. On behalf of Ray and his team, thanks for listening.